Jeremy Shirley, Regional Entertainment News. We're at MSSU today, 2020 Cardinals Caravan. How excited are you to come out here today to get to see all these kids?
Well, it's always fun. You know, you get out to the fan base. You know, as a former player, you know, you would see people from this area. You know, when I was playing, and you know, we're supported real well. We were in Springfield earlier, all day yesterday, and here today. We're in Rolla tonight. It's a lot of fun because you see the Cardinal Nation, how much they respect the Cardinals.
As you can see, I go to all the Cardinal games.
Yep, there you go.
For all the coverage. You know, it's great just to get to see you guys, guys that come out there and play, and get to see them come up to the major leagues. Do you have favorite memories that you like to talk about?
Well, you know, there's so many of them. You know, I played 12 years. That's a great memory. You know, three Gold Gloves, an All-Star, a World Series Rookie year. You know, every day was a lot of fun playing in the big leagues. It wasn't a job; it was a game. It was a job, but you know, it was fun. It's different every day. It's not like punching the clock. You know, to sit there and say there's one favorite, I had hundreds of them.
You know, when you come to becoming a professional athlete, it's a very small chance that most people get picked or selected. How proud was it that you got to be chosen?
Well, it's something growing up that you dreamt of. And you know, you dreamt of it being a reality. And I grew up in Tucson, Arizona. We had a lot of major league players for a small town that we were. In fact, 3 guys off my little league team all made it to the big leagues from our all-star team. You know, I came from a hotbed of baseball. You know, played with guys in high school that got to the big leagues. So to get there was, like I said, it was a dream. I mean, it's something that don't take for granted because, you know, it's such a small percentage you get to play and have success and play a long time. You know, so I never took it for granted.
I know a lot of players now keep diaries and journals. Did you ever keep a diary?
No, you know, it's funny you say that because I wish I did. You know, I wish I would have, you know, marked things like that. You know, not every day, but you know, once a week, go back and make notes because it would be a lot of fun to go back and look at. You know, when you play so many games, there's a lot of things that you forget. But it's amazing how quickly you pick it up. If someone brings up a point, you know, hey, I saw this, and you remember it. You know, you can start talking about it. It's crazy. You think with all the plays and games that you know you might be able to, but you know you can't.
Do you have the moment that you were your favorite baseball player that you finally got to meet?
Well, I grew up a big Dodger fan. You know, so I didn't really have a favorite one. I liked that whole Dodger team: Garvey, Lopes, Russell, Say, Ferguson, and Yeager, Rick Monday in the outfield with Billy North and Reggie Smith. You know, Bert Hooton, Mike Marshall on the mound, Don Sutton. I mean, it's funny because I've actually got to meet a lot of those guys playing. But really, there was one guy, he was an announcer, Ben Scully. Ben Scully taught me a lot of baseball. As a kid, you know, we had, in Tucson, you had every game on the radio. You know, not a lot of baseball was broadcast on TV back then. And I went to bed every night listening to Dodger game. And I learned a lot of baseball from Ben Scully. And I was telling Jack Buck one day, you know, when our first time going to play the Dodgers, I was telling Jack Buck about, you know, Ben Scully taught me a lot of baseball. And, you know, Jack Buck ends up telling Ben Scully the story. And then the next day, you know, I had a pretty good game. And Ben Scully came down to interview me. And it was, you know, I thought about all those days sitting on the end of my bed, falling asleep, listening to him, and here I'm on the radio talking to him, and it was a real surreal moment for me. It was neat, and from then on, every time we went to LA, whether I had a good game or bad day, I was on the radio one time on the Dodger Radio Network.
I want to talk about our last question coming out to MSSU today. So far, we've got hundreds of kids in the stadium. How excited you are to see them and being a part of the 2020 Caravan?
You know, that's what I say. That's what it's needed. It's about the kids. You know, they're the next generation. They look up to us. They're, you know, a lot of them are players. You know, they're playing Little League and they want to learn a little bit. But where else can you get this close to players? I mean,
it only happens once a year.
Yeah, you can't. You know, you go to a game and it's so roped off now, and you know, the access is very limited. we're going to have questions, question and answer. They can ask anything, and we'll answer.
Any charities or something you'd like to put the link?
I have a charity in Fayetteville, Arkansas called Pagnozzi Charities. We support kids that can't afford to play sports that meet the national guidelines. It's called Pagnozzi Parker, like Parker, who pitches in the big leagues. He finished the year with the Phillies. He's a free agent right now. We have a charity together, and we raise money for that. So it's pagnozziparker.org.
All right, I'll put that in the video link as well.
Appreciate it.
And then I'll do that again. This is Jeremy Shirley, Regional Entertainment News. Again, we're going to add a link to his charity as well, and keep watching the link for all of our 2020 news. Hey, Jeremy Shirley here, Regional Entertainment News, MSSU Cardinals Caravan. What's it like getting to come out here today?
Well, it's always fun, because we've got the greatest fan base in all of baseball. On Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we still got 40,000 plus in the stands, and so it's kind of our way of saying thank you to the great fan base for coming up to St. Louis. But we're also commenting too that it's really a fun time for us as broadcasters to get to meet some of the younger guys and see them away from the game and see how they interact with the fans, and also just got to see a little bit more about their own personalities, what they are like off the field.
I was fortunate enough because I get to cover the Springfield Cardinals every year, and I get to attend as many games as I can. Do you have a favorite pick player of that?
They're all my favorites, but I mean, I had Lane Thomas on the Caravan last year, and I really like him and really respect him. It was so unfortunate when he got hurt, because he was going to get a lot of playing time. Bader, you look at him a little bit. Paul DeYoung is one of my favorites and everything, but these guys all had the physical talents that I once had, and the game has changed and evolved quite a bit. But the one thing, as a father and as a family man, I can always say that I've really been impressed with the Cardinal organization, because they get some of the best talent, physical talent, but when you really think of the Cardinal players, we really had a high degree of caliber of men, and they handle themselves very well and conduct themselves very well. I used to say, my parents, growing up, you couldn't hurt me physically, but my mother she could wash my mouth out with soap and everything like that. I'd do anything, because that was the punishment that would drive me crazy. So I've always said, Cardinal players, you can say their name at the kitchen table. You don't get have your parent run you into the bathroom and wash your mouth out with soap, because they're good guys.
I want to say that being shows for Major League Sport is extremely rare, and it's extremely low percentage. What was it like the moment you got picked?
Well, I mean, like you say, even getting drafted and getting an opportunity to play professionally doesn't mean you're going to make it to the big leagues. And then it's still a low percentage of guys that are even signed that are getting 2 or 3 years in the big leagues. So I've always said it's easy to get to big leagues, it's hard to stay. But with more teams like this, with talented the players are, and they're much more talented than we were. The bigger, the stronger, the more athletic, the training techniques and the support that they get now is amazing. It's so much different than when I played. So I've got the utmost respect for these guys, and I've always said, I don't get into the money aspect. The only thing I ask of the players, do the best you can to try and earn that on a daily basis. And that doesn't mean you're always going to be successful. The good Lord gave you all this athletic ability, but He gave your opponent the same ability. So it's like two athletes going battle to battle. And the other thing is be fan friendly. And I think because of the money, a lot of these guys don't really have that fan reaction that we had. We were kind of dependent on the fans. And I always said, I'm going to go out and I'm going to impress some employer. And he's going to give me a job. Because, baseball you weren't going to be able to play baseball forever. And then when I started in the major leagues, the minimum salary was $12,000 a year.
You can't make a
so
whole lot.
You can't make a whole lot of living, and so I'm happy for the players for the money they make today. Just wanted to try and earn it and be fan friendly.
Do you have any charities that mean a lot to you? I could put it in this link in the interview.
The what now?
Do you have any charities that mean a lot to you? You want to let people know about?
You know what? I've always felt like if somebody thought I was worthy of any special attention. So I've always been open to just about any charity. But I've got to say, probably my favorites are the military charities. I grew up in the Vietnam era. I was in the big leagues and get in the reserve unit. To stay out of Vietnam and everything, and I always felt guilty because somebody else had to take my spot in active duty, and so I've always, kind of said, I think I would be a good soldier, but I don't know. And like I said, I got the utmost respect for men and women that serve our great country, give us the lifestyle we have because they're protecting us. So anything I can do with military charities is really, really special, and then obviously the children's charities is also.
Thank you for coming out.
You got it.
You got about three.
Jeremy, right?
Jeremy.
Hi, Jeremy.
You got about 300 or 400 kids standing out there waiting to meet you guys.